Good morning, everybody. Let's start with this presentation. I'm going to talk about how ChatGPT and basically any AI-powered search engine is going to be looking at finding your content, processing this content, basically, and then we'll have kind of a deep dive into how this process works, how content is pre-processed in order for AI to handle it correctly. And based on that, we're going to draw a few conclusions of how we can optimize our own Sitecore sites. So bear with me for the optimization part. That's the second part of the presentation. First, we're going to do it's going to be a bit more on the technical side. About me, well, I've been in the Sitecore space for 15 odd years, 9 times MVP. And in the recent two or so years, I've kind of specialized on implementing AI-powered search. I founded Key Semantics. We offer a AI-powered search engine for websites. So we have a number of customers in Switzerland, that's where I'm based, that are already using this product. And that's why I am kind of trying to show this process, because I've been through this process of optimizing context for LLMs to process it in the most ideal way. And yeah, I hope I can share some insights, maybe a few deeper insights than just the odd blog post that's out there online. Yep, that's all about me. Before I start with this question, is anyone actively tracking how much traffic they get from generative engines? Is it significant? Is Google still the main traffic source? So, I mean, we can actually see traffic coming from ChatGPT. We can see through the UTM source. With Google, I don't know, maybe someone knows it better. I don't know if you can actually distinguish if the source is an AI search or if it's a regular search. I don't know. Good, but what we are going to have a look at how these assistants actually come up with answers to questions. So this is, sorry about the German interface, but you've all seen this interface, you know what it does. If I ask what is Sitecore, it's going to come up with a answer. Let's give it some time to complete it. And yeah, Sitecore's been around for 25 years, we just heard. And this LLM knows what Sitecore is. Obviously, it's read about Sitecore. If you dive deep into this answer, it does feel a bit vague and a bit more on the old Sitecore, and not a bit less on the newer products. And yeah, that has a reason. Let's do another search. This time, what is Sitecore AI? And you can see something is happening. Let's redo this. What is Sitecore AI? Right at the top, you can see there's something online searching. We didn't have that before. And now it's coming up with the answer. Let's give it a second to complete. If you read this carefully, you can see it's much more focused. The answer is more focused. It's not absolutely vague, focusing on what Sitecore AI is. It actually pulls out a video here. Look at that. YouTube. Anyone in the room who created this video by any chance? So what we see here, we have sources. We didn't have that before. the general, what is Sitecore? It didn't quote any sources. Here we have sources. We have a number of Sitecore sources. The Sitecore documentation seems to be the top source. Maybe it's because the title is Sitecore AI. There's a press release right here, which is quoted as source. Another page, documentation and developer portal, okay. And here comes a blog post of a partner, I guess. These were quoted as the top sources. We have more sources. This is a case study, I'm not sure. Then another blog post by a partner. So you can see it pulls together a number of sources here and shows them. So these two kind of searches, they were quite, like, as a user, you don't notice much difference except for these sources coming up. But technically, it is quite different. We need to distinguish between trained knowledge here and retrieved knowledge. So trained knowledge, this is what the LLM actually knows, what it's been trained on. Usually that would be vast amounts of internet scraping, Reddit tweets, social media posts, whatever. Gazillions of megabytes of data that it's been trained on. Obviously, there's a lot of information on Sitecore in this training data, so it doesn't need to retrieve any additional data. It feels confident enough to directly answer this question. A problem we have here, typically we have a cutoff date. These models, they take time to train, and you usually have a cutoff date that's behind roughly a year, sometimes even more. So if I ask it, what is Sitecore AI? This was ChatGPT, the newest version of ChatGPT, has a cutoff of August last year. So it couldn't know what Sitecore AI actually is. There was no way of it knowing it. That's why it had to retrieve it. So it has ways of noticing, I don't know enough about this. Let's search the web. It has a number of tools available, and web search is one of them. So this gives it more up-to-date, more exact information. The downside, this needs to have an additional hoop to jump through. It needs to be retrieved. This process is called RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. Good. So RAG, we're going to dive into that in a moment. Next is just quickly, how does ChatGPT actually search? I'm using ChatGPT as a placeholder for all the AI search engines. They basically all work the same. So if I enter something like this, this ChatGPT is going to Google for us. So it notices I don't know enough about, I don't know what Sitecore AI is. Let's Google. Obviously, it won't use Google because they're competitors, but it will ask a search index, give me information on this. Outcome, a number of pages that might be interesting. It might do another search right here. Outcome, a number of additional pages. And as soon as it feels confident enough that it has enough information, it will start to analyze these sources. But this search process here is what happens first. It's this split second that you can see searching on the user interface. So in this part, important signals for it to determine which pages are actually relevant of these search results. It will look at the title and probably look at the description. As with SEO also, this is a bit of glass crystal ball theory. Obviously, we don't know exactly how they work internally, but this is a rough idea how this would work. So first optimization step already, take care of your titles, have the most important search keywords in your titles. And yes, keywords are still relevant because it's just not users entering keywords in search anymore, it's AI entering keywords in search. So if anyone says keywords are not relevant anymore, no, you still need to take care. It's just kind of in a different way. So I put this slide in here. We obviously all want to be part of these first search responses, because if you're not in these responses, you won't be quoted at all. So this is where we want to be. And how can we rank? How can we be in these search results? This is very much crystal ball theory. So it's very vague, but I can tell you what the industry consensus up to now is. So fresh content seems to be prioritized, especially for OpenAI. Google might treat it differently. Google uses its own search index, so probably classic SEO applies more for Gemini. With ChatGPT, it has shown fresh content is prioritized. This is very vague. Try to be trustworthy and authoritative. We heard that yesterday in the keynote. If Gartner is going to quote you and backlink to you, this probably makes you a trustworthy CMS vendor. Yeah, signals like that. Maybe social media posts linking to you. So backlinks still seem to matter. But yeah, this is very vague. There's probably not the one way of being trustworthy. Maybe it's publishing good content. Maybe it's just doing good. And what also helps is publish cross-media. Don't just publish on your website, publish LinkedIn posts, publish videos. We saw right before, videos, if you're very lucky, your video will get pulled right into a response. Yeah, that can help broaden the surface for you to be picked up by these engines. Okay, so that was the Googling part. Now let's have a look what happens once it's found these documents, once it's picked which ones are going to be relevant. So ChatGPT actually looks up your pages in real time. So in this split second, it will actually visit these pages and fetch the content of the pages. I've tested this with my own blog, and you can actually see it's going there, actually pulling the start page too, for whatever reason. And once it has fetched this data, I'm going to switch to this tool right here. Vibe coded this tool to visualize, try to visualize what happens next. So I was trying to do the Sitecore page as a demo, but they blocked me. They don't want my crawler running on it, so I have to do my own blog here. This is just a blog post on this topic. Classic blog post with some sections, and I have a Q&A section here that you can answers the most important question. There's also footer and navigation in here. Basic blog post. So let's catch this.
You're in airplane mode, yes.
Oh, that's not ideal. Why? Sorry. Let me just reconnect. F11 is airplane mode. Dangerous. There we go. So it's going to fetch this huge blob of HTML. And let's go into here. Let's prepare this. It's just a split second. So what we can do is we do a RAG prompt. Let me just set this up for a second. Back here. All I'm doing is here, this is the bare OpenAI interface. So it's not ChatGPT, it's talking to a model directly. So this doesn't have a web search tool or anything. It's just the bare LLM response. And here the system messages answer the question based on the data provided. And we are going to paste this blob right here. Come on. So maybe we need a question. There we go. So we have question and a huge blob of data. Let's go. So it came up with an answer. Let's zoom into this. It took 10 seconds. It has 16,000 input tokens. Make note of that number. Output is 82 tokens, so 16,000 input. We saw before it quoted roughly 15 documents, something around that. So if one document has 16,000 tokens, the context is going to get pretty darn big. Studies show if the context is bigger than 30 to 40,000, it's going to degrade. Maybe you've noticed that if you have a huge chat history, the answers start to get vague, they start to get wrong, or that's why, yeah, this is an issue. We can't just fetch 20 pages and put the raw HTML into the context. It's going to degrade, it's going to cost a lot of money, use energy. So we need to do something. So back to my tool. Let's apply some cleaning here. So this, I'm using standard libraries, scraper libraries out there that detect what is the main placeholder of your content. Is it maybe a main tag or article tag or anything like that? It's just got sort of a heuristic to filter out footer and header information that might not be relevant. Let's render this. It converts it to Markdown. So just it retains basic formatting like list items. More important, it retains headings. And yeah, that's just my raw blog post content without any footer and anything like that. You can see here the Q&A translates to title, short answer, title, answer. We'll see later why this is relevant.
What did you use?
This was the Mozilla one. Forget the name. Mozilla has one for like cleaning, putting clean focus on your content. There's yeah, that's just the one I used. I can have a look in the source afterwards if you want. Okay, so we have saved a lot of characters. We've down to 6,000 characters from like 56,000. Still, it needs to be broken down even more if you want to fit 20, 30 documents into the context. This is where chunking comes in. Typically, chunks would be splitted around headings because it's like little groups of text that kind of semantically make sense. So it splits it into a number of these small things. You can see the Q&As, they split up in almost always into a single chunk. These numbers here, they are not actually relevant. That's the vector embedding that we will need to select which chunks are most relevant. So I enter a question here and let's choose. So we have 14 chunks. Let's choose. It has selected 6 chunks. It does this with vector similarity. We're not going into details how this works. You can look this up. Tons of videos out there that explain this. But in a way, it just finds these chunks that probably match the question that was retrieved. So in the classic SEO, you worry about keyword density. It's probably a bit less relevant for these generative engines because this vector similarity is not absolutely doesn't rely on keyword count. If a keyword is in the chunk 5 times, it's probably as relevant as if it's in there once. So this is probably something that's becoming less relevant, this keyword density topic. Still, the keyword needs to be in the text. Vector search search is a bit broader. It can also find synonyms, etc. But it's not perfect. So you still need to think about what is AI searching for, and see that your content has these keywords in it. So we have 6 chunks. Let's do our prompt again. It's reduced quite a bit here. Start a new one. Let's go. So still same question, and the data has been cleaned up quite a bit. Interestingly, it came up with a broader answer. I gave in less data and it came up with a more comprehensive answer. It's interesting. It's not always like this. It's a bit random. But what is always like this is we have this token. So what did we have before? 16K. Now we're down to 600 tokens, and for actually a better response than before. So yeah, this is why this process is important. We save energy, we manage the context much better, we help the LLM focus on the important information instead of it having to scan through HTML tags. Yeah, so that's this process. Let's get back to the slides. So 3 steps: remove irrelevant content, convert it to LLM-friendly Markdown, and pick only the most important bits. So just a side note, why do LLMs love Markdown? This is the same information as HTML versus as Markdown. So it's much more condensed. It still retains formatting and emphasis and quite a bit of information. So it's better than plain text. And it's much better than HTML for this case. Yeah, we talked about this. So a question came up last time I held a similar talk. Do I need to convert my website into Markdown now? So the answer is simple. Don't worry about it. These engines do this for you. Worry about nicely structured HTML. This is what is important. Well-structured HTML converts to Markdown nicely. So focus on the HTML. Good. So that was the technical dive into this topic. And now let's have a look at maybe what we can draw out of this, what we can do to improve our GEO surface, our GEO rankings. So number 1 would be structure your content. This is not only a SEO, GEO topic, but also UX writing topic. You don't want to add a huge paragraph of text on your website. No one's gonna completely read it. Yeah, have a nice structure, have subtitles, have a clean H1, H2, H3 title structure. This translates into Markdown, as you can see here, and this actually signals the AI, the LLM, what the relevance of this text chunk is in the whole document. So nice structure. This one might be a bit more difficult to implement, but I have seen with customers I've been working with that if topics are spread over a number of pages, these engines have difficulty pulling it in. They might just fetch one of the 3 pages of a topic, and which is not optimal. We saw that before with this what is Psycho AI query. It went and got a number of pages, documentation and whatnot. It was able to come up with an answer, but a landing page that defines clearly what is this product, it didn't have this on psycho.com. Instead, it found blog posts by partners who nicely defined this all in one post. So as this blog post format works very, very well for this, because you have typically a long form text. This one is very useful too if you add a summary for long articles. These summaries typically transform into a single chunk, which will probably be included into your into the context. So that helps, and also helps users, which should probably be the main focus. And these Q&A sections, well, you might have heard about this. This is pure gold for these LLMs, because just simply these short question answers, they convert to chunks and they fit nicely into a context. So this is helpful. Well, I would say focus on the user, make them useful for the user, not just some kind of AI slop. Actually have useful questions in here and not just generate thousands. What is important about these Q&As, place them where your content is. A central, I often see central kind of Q&A pages. That's Q&A over the entire site. It might work for a user, but not for these AIs, because they have to pick up this. They would have to pick up the Q&A page in order to make use of these. So yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You need to sleep Q&A such differently in your all sleep.
So for it to be, I would say optimal is if you have a H4, H5, just some H tag as a question, and then a paragraph, because that just makes converts to a nice markdown. That's what I would say. Bit of a crystal ball assumption here, but you can see this converts to nice markdown. Good. So this one should be a no-brainer. Images should have an alt text. I've been talking about this for like 20 years. And images, especially for these AI engines, caption can help very well too. So if the image is relevant for the content, if it's not just decorative, absolutely alt text it and possibly also caption it. Kind of the same topic here. If possible, add transcripts to videos. This would help visually impaired people. and it helps your SEO, GEO also. Maybe also just a summary of what's found in the video. You don't need a line-by-line transcript, but just you have to know these videos are usually a kind of black box for these AI tools. They would have the capability of analyzing images and videos, but they just don't. You see this short 1 second search thing pop up. It's not going to analyze images and videos in this short time. And this, I do a lot of work with public sector companies, and yeah, they would tend, at least the ones I work, they do tend to write their content in Word and create a PDF and then just upload the PDF to the website. So like here is information on building regulations, download it. And yes, this is absolutely not optimal for these generative engines. They don't go into PDFs. It would just take too much time to parse PDFs. It's complex parsing PDFs. Yeah, try to publish important content as web content, if at all possible. PDFs don't go down that very well. And if it has to be a PDF, maybe add a summary, just some guidance that we have some information as web content. Okay, we're getting to the end. I have 3 technical best practices here also. So this was more content focused, authoring focused. Let's have a look at the tech. So this one, very interesting. For like the last decade or so, JavaScript hasn't been an issue anymore because the Googlebot was so friendly to execute JavaScript while they crawl. And now this new guy, ChatGPT, comes up and fetches pages in real time, and they do not execute JavaScript. They just do a fetch of the HTML that comes back. They don't care about JavaScript. And so there is a number of pages out there that just display nothing if you don't have JavaScript. It wasn't an issue because of Google, but it's becoming an issue again now. So test your pages. You can use the Chrome Search Console, disable JavaScript, and see if your content is still there or not. It doesn't have to look beautiful, but the content needs to be on the page. Number 2, page speed is becoming more key than it has ever been. So focus on Lighthouse scores. But I have to say right now, Lighthouse is focusing on rendering, painting, things like that. And for these AI engines, they don't render the page. They just fetch the content. So the metric to look out for would be time to first byte. It's quite hard to find in the Lighthouse report. But yeah, in general, you can say a good Lighthouse scores helps you. And fast time to first byte helps a lot more. So if you're doing static site generation out there, which like with most headless sites you will be doing, this helps greatly. Okay, so and what you can do, how can I control which crawlers, how they interpret my page? We still have robots text. This is still the #1 go-to. You can, in very much detail, instruct OpenAI what they can crawl and what not. You can actually say what they are allowed to use for training and what they are allowed to use in real time for fetching. You can control this. There's a detailed guide by OpenAI. And I've been tracking this on my blog for about 6 months now. And yeah, OpenAI comes by daily and checks this robot text. Google does also. So this is used by all major engines. Sitemap, also very important to ensure your content is being crawled and pulled into these indexes. Make sure your sitemap is functional. I see so many sitemaps with just some test content in them or 404s in them, things like that. Yeah, make sure these sitemaps work. They are very important. And who's heard of LLM's text? So this has been a bit of, yeah, it's a proposed standard. The idea is similarly to robots text, that you tell an AI search engine what is important on your website, like what are the most important pages. It's kind of a starting point. That's the idea of this proposed standard. I have to say, as of today, none of the big vendors have adopted this. And I personally am a bit critical if they ever will, because it's kind of like this keyword meta tag you can manipulate. And I don't think they are going to open this surface of manipulation, but who knows? Let's look into this. So if you want to set up an LLM's text, it's not going to do any harm, of course, but it's currently not helping that much. Where it absolutely can help is for technical documentations, because Claude Code uses LLM's text. So if Claude Code is going to look up your tech documentation automatically, they might pass your LLM's text file. So if you're publishing tech docs, might be interesting. Otherwise, I would say just wait and see how adoption is. Okay, so I don't have a massive comprehensive list of tools here. Maybe someone has an input of a tool for optimizing, for checking. I just wanted to shout out to Conabos for their Rank Ready tool. It's free to use. You just enter your page. You can enter multiple pages, and they are going to analyze your Lighthouse report, do a bit of content analysis, and like check if you have Q&As, check if your Q&As have the right size. So things like that. It's very interesting. So check that out. One thing that always gets overlooked a lot is Bing. Bing has webmaster tools, just like Google has, and they're quite useful because, yeah, you know, I always think of my mom. If she thinks she's using Google, she's actually using Bing. A lot of users use Bing just because they don't know it's not Google. And maybe coming back to this ranking earlier on, OpenAI is kind of affiliated with Microsoft, and in the early days it was actually using Bing as its search. Now it's not 100% clear what they are using, but I'm sure it can't be bad to actually rank in Bing. It will help. Okay, that's Q&A.
Any questions?
Hi. It is kind of open question, but I'm just wondering what are your thoughts about a JSON LD schema for the website? How does it work for LLMs?
Yeah, so I can't answer what they do because I just don't know. There's a lot of talk out there that JSON LD helps. I would say, especially with posts with recency, like a date information, author information, I think that would probably help. This goes back to a very early slide. Let's see if we can. This is into this be trustworthy and authoritative topic. It can help if you have well-structured JSON LD. It might help with looking trustworthy. So it's probably worth checking that out, but it's probably not worth trying to put all your content into JSON LD. That's probably not that.
That's what I thought. That maybe JSON LD is a good way to separate the proper content from the noise on the website.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that will evolve. Maybe there'll be a whole new standard where we don't need wait pages anymore. I don't know.
Thank you.
Not a question, but we work in the healthcare space, and one way we've tried to present as trustworthy and authoritative as having clinical sign-off on all our web pages. So they're reviewed and authored by somebody that works in clinical consultants and stuff like that.
Okay.
Still have time. Okay.
It's about the content scraping. So you use the direct website to scrape the content. So basically, Sitecore hosts, personalized content based on the location of the user or based on the devices. How does the ChatGPT or any AI tools, decide which content to retrieve?
Let's have a look. Well, I guess it's up to you defining the personalization. You can see you have a ChatGPT user agent here. I mean, you could present it specialized content, but it's kind of entering a danger zone. As we know with Google, if they find out, they usually kick you out of the index. But yep, I think that's the only personalization point that you have.
Okay, thank you.
Then thank you very much. Oh, that's well.
Thank you. It was very great. Do you know if people running client applications like Cloud Desktop or anything, will the request then be from with a authenticated user session from that, or is it using some kind of server proxy or anything like that?
That would very much depend on the MCP server you're using. Well, if Claude has a web search tool built in that wouldn't authenticate you, you would need some MCP that does the pre-authentication for you. You'd probably have to build something there yourself, or look if there's some product available.
A question about just generally your clients or people that you're working with. Do you see a panic at all within the industries of a drop of website visits via SEO and all this now going to the LLMs?
Well, clients are noticing a drop in traffic. Some are saying, on the other hand, the traffic that comes through is more valuable because they really want to visit this site. I guess that's what we have to put up with in future, and we have to focus on being quoted. I guess many users don't even bother about these citations and click on links. They just read what's given to them. It's going to be interesting what's coming up.
We still have time for one more, if you want.
I will make one more question because I think it's a small route even without mic because thanks for the nice session. You explain how actually ChatGPT OpenAI does crawling, right, of your website, which works slightly differently than Google crawling. But it's also interesting how does it work with deep research, because besides regular crawling, it also does analysis, as you mentioned, based on pricing. If you are looking for products based on rates in another channels. So to be honest, I'm also interested how exactly does this process work in more details, because besides regular crawling, I would like my website to be on top of this research, and sometimes price is not the key because you have good comments or vice versa. So it's interesting how does it work as well.
we have it's a bit of a plug for our search engine that we offer. We have also a deep research mode, and what we do there is just give it more time. It's not just 1-2 seconds. We give the agent time to iterate and iterate a bit more. So it will issue 20, 40, 50 search queries and have a look at the results in more depth. Maybe that's where JSON LD comes in. If you have price information on your JSON schema, that might help the LLM come to decisions there. But yeah, in the end, it's up to the LLM to decide what is relevant and what not. This is kind of hard to influence. What we can do is present it the best information possible. Yeah. Oops.
All right, then thank you very much, Mark.
Yeah.